Welcome to this explainer. If you've ever found yourself staring at a mountain of solar gear, kind of scratching your head over why inverters are rating for 12, 24, or 48 volts, well, you're absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to break down why perfectly matching your battery and inverter voltage isn't just some optional guideline, it is literally the ultimate secret to building an off-grid setup that's both safe and incredibly efficient. Let's get right into it. So let's go ahead and bust a really common myth right out of the gate. A lot of folks look at a standard 12-volt battery and just assume, hey, I can hook this up to basically anything, right? Well, no way. The reality is that you absolutely cannot just plug any battery into any inverter. It just doesn't work like that. Every single inverter is meticulously designed to handle one highly specific DC input voltage. Here is exactly how we're going to break down the physics and configuration steps for you today. First, the golden voltage rule. Second, why voltage dictates current. Third, choosing your system voltage. Fourth, series versus parallel wiring. And finally, critical safety and mistakes. All right, let's start with section 1, the golden voltage rule. Here's the harsh truth. If you try pairing, say, a 12-volt battery bank with an inverter that's specifically designed for 24 volts, you are speeding straight towards system failure. The inverter simply won't find the voltage it needs, so it's going to refuse to start, it'll probably trigger a bunch of constant annoying alarms, or even worse, it could turn your really expensive equipment into a permanent paperweight. The rule here is absolute, guys. A 24-volt inverter requires a 24-volt battery bank. A 48-volt inverter, it requires a 48-volt battery bank, period. Moving right along to section 2, why voltage dictates current. To really grasp this, we need to take a quick peek under the hood at the electrical physics. Don't worry, it's pretty straightforward. Power equals voltage multiplied by current. If we just rearrange that a bit, we get current equals power divided by voltage. Now, I know formulas can feel a bit dry, but this mathematical relationship is basically a survival tool for your solar setup. Why? Because it dictates exactly how much stress you're putting on your entire wiring system. And this right here is where that real aha moment happens. Let's say you want to run a 2,000-watt appliance, think like a standard microwave. Notice how on a 12-volt system, that 2,000-watt load pulls a massive 167 amps. But watch what happens as we step up the voltage. The current just drops dramatically. At 24 volts, it pulls 83 amps. And at 48 volts, we're down to just 42 amps. I really want to pause on that 167 amps number for a second. To put that into perspective for you, 167 amps is literally enough current to comfortably arc weld steel. If you try pushing that kind of extreme power through undersized 12-volt cables, it's going to cause some severe heating, massive voltage drops, and it will rapidly melt your connections right off. It's no joke. So it really all boils down to this one simple concept. Same power, different current. By stepping up to a higher voltage battery bank, you dramatically reduce the amount of current traveling through your wires. And lower current means less heat, it means reduced voltage drop, and it ultimately means a much higher efficiency for your whole system. That is exactly why the professionals out there never run heavy arrays on 12 volts. That brings us to section 3, choosing your system voltage. Let's start with 12-volt systems. Now, these are beautifully simple, they're super accessible, and honestly, they're perfect for RVs or small setups where you're just running some LED lights, maybe a fan, or a tiny TV. But as a general rule of thumb, you really want to stick to 12 volts only if your total loads are staying under 1,000 watts. If you push it past that, remember our math from earlier, your current is going to spike dangerously high. On the flip side, if you're planning to run medium to heavy loads, you've got to step it up. 24-volt systems are absolutely excellent for medium inverters, running your household refrigerators and moderate home backup setups. But if you're looking at a large inverter for whole house backup, running heavy, high-power appliances, or setting up a massive solar array, then a 48-volt system is your gold standard. This is the exact reason professional installers default to 48-volt systems for the big jobs. It allows you to deliver massive amounts of power safely simply by keeping that current incredibly low. Okay, section 4. Series versus parallel wiring. Now, here is a fatal system stalling mistake that beginners make all the time. If you have a 24-volt inverter and two 12-volt batteries, wiring them in parallel, which means positive to positive, negative to negative, keeps your voltage strictly at 12 volts. Parallel wiring only increases your capacity, not your voltage. To actually reach the 24 volts your inverter demands, you absolutely must wire those batteries in series. That means connecting the positive terminal of one battery to the negative terminal of the other, because it's the series connection that actually adds those voltages together. And finally, let's cover Section 5, Critical Safety and Mistakes. First up on the chopping block is the extreme danger of battery mixing. Never ever mix different battery chemistries together. Like, don't even think about combining an older lead-acid AGM battery with a brand new lithium LiFePO4 one. On top of that, don't combine old batteries with fresh ones, and definitely don't mix batteries that have different amp-hour capacities. Doing any of these things creates a severe imbalance in your system. What happens is the stronger batteries will overwork themselves trying to compensate for the weaker ones, and it will rapidly destroy the lifespan of your entire battery bank. You might want to mentally save this essential safety checklist. Keep it top of mind. Step 1, always confirm your inverter's exact DC input voltage before you do anything. Step 2, build your battery bank, whether in series or parallel, to match that voltage perfectly. Step 3, always remember that lower voltage systems require drastically thicker cables. Don't cheap out on the wiring. And step 4, always size your fuses based on your maximum current so you can protect those wires from melting. So I'll leave you with this to chew on. What battery voltage is your system running right now? And is your wiring truly equipped to handle the hidden dangers of high current? Let that question sink in a bit as you evaluate your own setup. Go double-check those cable sizes, verify your math one more time, and make sure your off-grid system is just as incredibly safe as it is powerful. Keep learning, stay safe out there, and we will see you in the next explainer.